Good morning, Central High School, and thank you for joining us on this wonderful March 9th edition of The Circuit. I'm Max Fry.
And I'm Sydney Williams.
Today we'll be covering Vine remakes of old Vines, gun control debate, and a brand new Sports Central and Mama story.
Everyone loves to laugh at and create good vines even at the end of the service.
Students around the school participated in making their own remakes.
Let's look at how these remakes went.
What's up, Central? I'm standing here because the Vine segment actually didn't happen, so it's going to happen next week. But until then, enjoy this clip of a Vine that we remaked. Oh, wait a minute, Mr. Postman.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
I can't believe you've done this.
Sydney, first Vine that comes to your head.
Hurricane Katrina? More like Hurricane Tortilla.
That looked extremely fun, and even though the app itself died last year, the memories live on.
Now, let's move on to Central Sports and look at the actions that happened in the past weeks.
Here's Julia and the team reporting on the action.
Welcome to Sports Central. I'm Eric Casares.
I'm Taylor McCarson, and this is what's going on with Central Sports.
The boys basketball team made it to the second round of the playoffs for the first time in school history. However, they fell short in the second round to Odessa Permian. Congratulations on a historic season.
The season has concluded as the boys sent Jacob Garcia and Jake Rippers to state, and for the girls they sent Amalani Latu, Colleen Weber, and Adia Renee. Congratulations to you guys.
LCS has far entered the season with a district record of 9-1 and are now in first place after a 3-1 district win over Keller on Tuesday night.
CFC is far into their season as they are 5-4 in district after a tough loss to Keller on Tuesday night.
The season has kicked off a couple of their meets. First one was at Timber, next one was home meet at Central, at Richland, and then at Louisville yesterday. Be sure to come out and support as they take on Southlake the next week.
Softball got a huge district win over Timber, winning 6-5 and beating Timber for the first time in school history. They have another game tonight against Holton. Come out and support.
On the boys' side, baseball has kicked off their season after a dominant win over Polytech by a score of 18-3 this past week. They will have more tournament games this weekend, so come out and support. Well, that's all we have for you today, Central. Back to you all in the studio.
Congratulations everyone on the dubs and keep working hard.
Another hot topic that's going around is gun control.
Many have their own ideas and opinions on which way the country should lean on.
Let's look further into the highly debated subject matter. With recent tragedies in Las Vegas and Parkland, citizens are calling for changes in gun policy. Whether you are a Second Amendment enthusiast or not, we can all agree that something needs to change. Here's what some of you at Central had to say about guns.
It's kind of like a broad question, but in light of recent events, like gun control has been a big topic of conversation. And the whole reason that I do agree with like gun control and stricter gun laws is because at 18 right now I can go out and buy an assault rifle. There's no background check, there's no kind of screening process to see if I'm mentally stable enough to own a gun of that kind. All of these kids have like mental illness, or they are exhibiting signs of like violence, and like the FBI gets tips and they don't act on it, or police officers are saying no, it's fine, they're just kids, and they go and they buy these guns and no one stops them because there's nothing in place to stop them.
I think guns shouldn't be as easily accessible as they are as of right now, at least in the US. I know a lot of people will sell to minors and people who shouldn't be getting them, and I think we should definitely do more background checks on people who do have them and make sure that they are like mentally stable. We have so much access to them, and that's why I think that's plays a big factor in all the violence that's going on right now.
To help make our great nation a safer place, together we can bring an end to gun violence.
With that, we have something else that's on the serious subjects.
This past week was Suicide Awareness Week, in which the message of depression was discussed.
We have an important segment for everyone to get more informed and aware.
Here's a brave Central faculty member sharing her story with us about suicide and its ugliness.
This is Leanne McClure, more commonly known as Mama to the choir students at Central High School. She is the head choral director and is deeply loved by everyone she comes in contact with. Mama shared part of her story during Suicide Awareness Week as one of the Silhouette speakers. Mama believes that in sharing her entire story, others will be able to find hope. And for Mama, that's what it's all about.
My story is that after a night out on Valentine's Day of 2012, we came home. My husband had had a negative encounter that afternoon at his job, and we talked through it that night after we'd had a really lovely date together, and he told me he just felt like he couldn't get past it. I had no idea that he felt as desperate as he did. That night, I stayed up and prayed for him all night long because I knew he was really struggling and had an internal struggle. And at 6 o'clock that morning, after really staying up all night, I heard a pop in the back of the house and knew something was very wrong, and something inside of me told me not to move and not to go, and I called 911, and the police came and went back and found that he had shot himself through the heart. The Monday after we buried my husband, I came to work and I was sitting at my desk. I'll never forget it. Mr. McNulty came in to me and said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "What was I supposed to do? Was I supposed to stay home and feel sorry for myself, or was I supposed to be where I love to be, doing what I love to be doing?" Suicide is not, it is final, but it is not a finality for those of us who are left behind, and that what we have to do every day is get up and walk in hope, put one foot in front of the other, and continue to walk the path that we've been given. He was a really good, wonderful man who just happened to have a moment of desperation. It really is a story. Sometimes I wake up thinking it's still not real, even 6 years later, but I think the most important thing is that there is always hope. And no matter how bad things get, it always gets better. It never stays as bad as it is, even in our most desperate days. I think it's important to get help, and there is help for everyone. Walk in hope, give people light, show people grace, and find a group of friends who will support you, and realize that you have families and other teachers and other people in your lives who want to help you live healthier.
That's all we have for you today, Central. Thanks for tuning in.
For news and more, be sure to check out centralhighhub.com. And for news and entertainment, you can see it on the circuit.
Have a great Friday, everyone. Thank
Another
you.
hot topic.
If you bang on this thing one more time.
We don't have much time. Let's go.
Okay. I couldn't
Gotta start from here again. Sorry, Max.
Ready.